Good morning. Good morning. Welcome and welcome back to Bookeemonsters. My name is PK. It is Tuesday, March the 26th. And on Tuesdays, we look at the new releases that are mysteries and thrillers. And we're going to leap in here pretty quickly because there are a lot of them. And I'm just probably going to read the first paragraph of each one because, again, there are a lot of them to get to. Hope you had a good Monday. Quick announcements. We do have sprints tonight at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. They'll go for 2.5 hours. I do every Tuesday and Thursday evenings and Saturday afternoons. And every day of the week in the mornings, we look at the new releases that are being set into the wild, a different genre every day. And I do repost those, so you don't have to get up early and watch those lives if you don't want to. But if you do, I appreciate you so much, and I appreciate you guys watching it later. Kim says, good morning. Up this morning watching videos from the Little House on the Prairie 50th reunion. Love seeing Willie Olson. So glad he attended. Didn't he have issues with his sister? He's a Gilbert, right? 50 years. That's crazy. We're too young. All right, let's leap in. I'm going to go here and close down that tab. I've got a lot of tabs up. All right, how to solve your own murder. First in the Castle Knoll Files by Kristen Perrin. It's 1965, and teenage Frances Adams is at an English country fair with her two best friends, but Frances's night out takes a hairpin turn when a fortune teller makes a bone-chilling prediction. One day, Frances will be murdered. Frances spends a lifetime trying to solve a crime that hasn't happened yet, compiling dirt on every person who crosses her path. How sad. In an effort to prevent her own demise. For decades, no one takes Frances seriously until nearly 60 years later, when Frances is found murdered like she always said she would be. I'll have to read this next paragraph to get the gist of what the story is about. In the present day, Annie Adams has been summoned to a meeting at the sprawling country estate of her wealthy and reclusive great aunt Frances. But by the time Annie arrives in the quaint English village of Castle Knoll, Frances is already dead. Annie is determined to catch the killer, but thanks to Frances's lifelong habit of digging up secrets and lies, it seems every endearing and eccentric villager might just have a motive for her murder. How about doing that? Created that situation. Can Annie safely unravel the dark mystery at the heart of Castle Knoll, or will dredging up the past throw her into the path of a killer? Interesting concept. Yes, but it appears they have reconciled. They look very happy together, and he's quite really good for him. Sleeping Giants by Renee Denfeld. 20 years ago, a 9-year-old boy was swept away by powerful waves on a remote Oregon beach, his body lost to the sea. Only a stone memorial remains to mark his tragic death. For most of her life, Amanda Dufresne has no idea she had an older brother named Dennis Owens, or that he had died. Adopted as a baby, she learned about him while looking into her late birth mother and is curious to know more about this lost sibling. A solitary young woman, Amanda has always felt distance from the world around her. Her brain works differently from others, leaving her feeling set apart. Her one true companion is the orphaned polar bear she cares for working at the zoo. By getting to know her birth family, she hopes to understand more about herself. Interesting. Polar bears. They couldn't have a cat even talking. The next in the Aunties series, The Good, the Bad, and the Aunties. For some reason, that was set on the audiobook. By Jesse Q. Sutanto. Third in this series. What should have been a family celebration of Chinese New Year descends into chaos when longtime foes crash the party. After an ultra-romantic honeymoon across Europe, Betty Chan and her husband Nathan have landed in Jakarta to spend Chinese New Year with her entire extended family. Chinese New Year, already the biggest celebration of the lunar calendar, gets even more festive when a former beau of second aunts shows up at the Chan residence bearing extravagant gifts. He's determined to rekindle his romance with second aunt, and the gifts are his way of announcing his courtship. His grand gesture goes awry, however, when it's discovered that not all the gifts were meant for second aunt and the Chans. One particular gift was intended for a business rival to cement their alliance and included by accident. Of course, the aunties agree that it's only right to return the gift. After all, anyone would forgive an honest mistake, right? But what should have been a simple retrieval turns disastrous, and suddenly Meddy and the aunties are helpless pawns in a decades-long war between Jakarta's most powerful business factions. The truth about the Devlins. He said all these years he has been looking for home. This last week has shown him that that was home. Oh, wow. That would be emotional. Lisa Scottoline has a new one. The truth about the Devlins. This could be a standalone. TJ Devlin is the charming disappointment in the prominent Devlin family, all of whom are lawyers at their highly successful firm, except him. After a stint in prison and rehab for alcoholism, TJ can't get hired anywhere except at the firm in a make work job with the title of investigator. But one night, TJ's world turns upside down after his older brother John confesses that he murdered one of their clients, an accountant he'd confronted with proof of embezzlement. It seems impossible coming from John, the firstborn son and most valuable Devlin. TJ plunges into the investigation, seizing the chance to prove his worth and save his brother. But in no time, TJ and John find themselves entangled in a lethal web of deception and murder. TJ will fight to save his family, but what he learns might break them first. That sounds interesting to me. I'm going to add it to my cart so I can look at it later. The Witless Protection Program by Maria Dorico, fifth in the Catering Hall Mysteries. Series sleuth Mia Carina has finally steered her Italian-American family's catering hall, Bellevue Banquet Manor, into becoming the premier party site of Astoria, Queens. Now, if only her presumed dead ex-husband would get out of the way. A strong, independent woman and respected entrepreneur, Mia never imagined she'd pine for a marriage proposal. Yet lately, with her beloved Shane, she's on tenterhooks. It's especially surprising considering Mia's first husband, Adam, was a philandering grifter, assumed lost at sea after a boating disaster, but everyone knows what happens when you assume. While working a huge wedding expo in Manhattan, Mia is shocked to spot the man who nearly destroyed her life, the one who's supposed to be sleeping with the fishes, but she loses him in the crowd. And when it happens again the next day, it's time for an emergency meeting with the family and the family. Because if Adam is alive, Mia is still married. Everyone wants Adam dead, everyone except Mia. She's dealt with enough police for a lifetime. Mia needs to be a divorcee, not a widow. But someone out of there disagrees, and if Mia doesn't discover who, she may never be free to marry Shane or anyone else. Murder Marks the Page, a Tomes and Tea mystery series first by Karen Rose Smith. Daisy's daughter, Jazzy Swanson, has opened her own tea and bookshop, providing a variety of literature and flavored beverages for a rural New York community. But Jazzy hasn't just inherited her mother's gift for brewing tasty drinks; she's also has a nose for sniffing out murder. New York State's Bell Tower Landing is a lakeside resort town where tourists spend their summer days boating, floating, and paddleboarding on the water. It's also the perfect place to cuddle up with a good book and enjoy a cup of tea, courtesy of Tomes and Tea. Owned and operated by Jazzy and her best friend Dawn Fernsby, the book bar is beloved by vacationers and locals alike, but browsers grabbing brews in the off season aren't enough to help them keep ends meet. Between brainstorming social media publicity ideas for the shop and fending off flirtatious men she has no interest in or time for, Jazzy befriends a woman named Bree who has recently made contact with her biological father. As an adopted child herself, Jazzy is more than happy to give Bree emotional support, especially as her wealthy father's wife and children see her as a threat. But Bree is also looking to start a family of her own. Unfortunately, all the potential princes she's met through a dating app turn out to be frogs. Then, when Bree is found murdered, Jazzy finds herself playing detective. New page. This one's only in paperback. This is by Cheryl Steins. Investigating a conspiracy really wasn't on Nikki's very long to-do list. As a single mom to 3 kids, life is tough. As a divorced woman whose no-good ex is about to have a baby with his barely legal new wife, life is infuriating. And as a paralegal who might be the key to solving her boss's kidnapping, life is dangerous. When Nikki starts to notice some odd files at the law firm she works at, she chalks it up to clerical error. But when employees start to go missing, she realizes that these odd files might be the key to everything. Nancy Bush, Nowhere to Run. First of 5. How do they know? Yep, that was a re-release. Secrets of a Scottish Isle. 5th in the Jane Wonderly Mysteries by Erica Ruth Neubauer. I read the first one, I believe. I've just not gotten back to it. She must investigate a secret society on an isolated isle off the western coast of Scotland, where esoteric rituals blur the line between what's real, what's illusion, and what's deadly. Isle of Iona, 1927. Cast away on a remote locale, Jane's latest assignment depends on concealing her identity and blending in at an occult gathering. Not even her fiance, Redvers, can be, I'm probably saying that wrong, is it Rivers? Can be too close as she uncovers the truth about Robert Nightingale, enigmatic, drinking game, leader of the Order of Golden Dawn, a group made up of supernatural ceremonies, influential people, and an undefinable darkness. When a woman tries to escape the mainland only to be found murdered on the moors, the shocking scene reveals it's easier to join the Golden Dawn than it is to leave. Sleeping Giants by Renee Denfeld. We did that one. Thank goodness. One less. The Seafarer's Secret by Carol Ann Collins. Secrets are revealed, lies are exposed, and in order to have a future, William and Eva will have to delve into the past. William Templeton, widower and police chief of Eden, North Carolina, is working the scene of a local woman's drowning when the body is found with an old gold coin in her pocket, identical to a coin that was discovered on Catherine's body, his estranged wife, over a year ago. Catherine's case, originally deemed a tragic accident, has been reopened, forcing William to step down as police chief. Historian and Blackbeard expert Eva Knightley is brought into the investigation to help identify the coins and can't understand why her good friend Catherine never mentioned anything about it. When more coins surface at a local church, Eva and William know it's more than mere coincidence. With the entire town whispering about Blackbeard, cursed coins, and lost treasure, it becomes hard to separate what is true and what is myth. That also sounds interesting. Oh, I like this series, but I'm only on like book 3, I think. But I do like this one. It's a historical mystery, of course. 7. A Deadly Deception by Carla Simpson. Michaela takes on a case alone, and Brody is pulled into a new investigation for Sir Avery and the agency. Her inquiry services are requested by the wife of a prominent London surgeon after he has disappeared, while Brodie is sent to track down rumors of a planned attack in London by the anarchists known as the Black Hand. It's a time of dangerous unrest across the whole of Europe, and they realize the two cases may be connected when the doctor is found murdered at a secret office in the East End where he performed certain procedures. It is also the place where the anarchist was followed only to disappear. What was the reason for secrecy regarding that specific office? Why was the doctor murdered? What is the connection to the anarchists? If you are interested in historical mysteries and are caught up on, say, Veronica Speedwell or Sherry Thomas's Charlotte Holmes series, that one might be one to investigate, and it's Kindle Unlimited. A Forgotten Kill by Isabella Maldonado, second in the Daniel Vega series. An FBI agent tracks a brilliant serial killer in New York, right back to her own cold-blooded past in a riveting thriller, blah, blah, blah. FBI Special Agent Daniela Danny Vega was 17 when her mother murdered her father. 10 years after Danny's own damning eyewitness testimony sealed her mother's fate, she's starting to have doubts. What if she got it all wrong? A veteran NYPD homicide detective agrees to reopen the closed case on one condition. Danny must help him find a serial killer who has been operating throughout New York City for the past decade. If anyone can decipher his patterns and his riddles, it's a trained codebreaker like Danny. The killer knows this too, and his next riddle and victim is meant just for her. For Danny, stopping a killer and learning what really happened to her father becomes more personal and more dangerous with each new twist. As secrets of the past are unearthed, the truth could forever change Danny's life and the lives of everyone she loves. A Governess Guide to Passion in Peril by Amanda Collins, fourth in the Ladies' Most Scandalous series. Two friends reunite and discover hidden feelings while investigating a murder in this blah blah blah. Jane Hollowell once dreamed of a home of her own, but those dreams and her dowry died with her father. Now she works as a governess, preparing her charge for a future no longer within her reach. When her new employer is murdered during a house party, however, Jane is forced back into the world of the Tulle. But stepping in as hostess will require working with the same lord who once broke her girlish heart. Lord Adrian Fielding was too consumed with his job at the Foreign Office to pay young Jane much heed, but he always considered her a friend, which is why he's confounded by her icy demeanor now. More troubling still is his desire to melt the tensions between them, but his mentor's murder means he must first find the culprit and ensure Jane's safety as she manages a house full of foreign dignitaries. Jude Devereaux has a new one. A long time writing author, and this is new. Fourth in the Medlar Mystery series. Even the closest families have secrets hidden away. Best-selling novelist Sarah Medlar is skilled at sharing stories about other people, but she hoped the truth about her own family would never surface. Her home in Laughlin, Florida is her refuge, and she loves having her niece Kate and dear friend Jack Wyatt together under her roof. The Medlar Three, as they are known around town, have sworn off getting involved in any more murder investigations. Right. When the sheriff unexpectedly leaves on vacation, Jack is surprised to find himself appointed as deputy. So when Kate stumbles upon a dead body while visiting a friend, the Medlar Three are back in the sleuthing game. Kate also has a charming new real estate client with a mysterious past. He seems to be followed by trouble, and that makes Sarah and Jack uneasy. It doesn't take long to discover that the murder and the new man in town are somehow related. The question is how. Agent 17 by John Brownlow. You'll never know my name, but you won't forget my number. Behind the events you know are the killers you don't. When diplomacy fails, we're the ones who gear up. Officially, we don't exist, but every government in the world uses our services. We've been saving the world and your ass for 100 years. 16 people have done this job before me. I am 17. The most feared assassin in the world, but to be honest, you must beat the best. My next target is 16, just as one day 18 will hunt me down. Ew. It's a dog eat dog world and it gets lonely at the top. Nobody gets to stay for long, but while we're here, all that matters is that we win. Okay. Death Unfiltered by Emmeline Duncan, fourth in the Ground Rules Mysteries. As the owner of Portland, Oregon's popular Ground Rules coffee cart, hardworking young master barista Sage Kaplan is excited to expand her business with a brick and mortar store, but not everyone gives her a warm welcome. Ground Rules isn't the only newcomer set to open in Portland's brand new Button building. Did we read this one? Fortunately, most of the fellow micro restaurant owners and patrons are great, with two exceptions. Yep, we did read this one. Moving on. What Happened to Nina by Dervla McTiernan. Nina and Simon are the perfect couple, young, fun, and deeply in love, until they leave for a weekend at his family's cabin in Vermont and only Simon comes home. What happened to Nina? Nobody knows. Simon's explanation about what happened in their last hours together doesn't add up. Nina's parents push the police for answers, and Simon's parents rush to protect him. They hire expensive lawyers and a PR firm that quickly ramps up a vicious, nothing is off limits media campaign. How far will his family go to keep him safe? Soon, facts are lost in a swirl of accusations and counter accusations. Everyone chooses a side, and the story goes viral, fueled by armchair investigators and wild conspiracy theories, and illustrated with pretty pictures taken from Nina's social media accounts. Journalists descend on their small Vermont town, followed by a few obsessive fans. How far will her family go to get to the truth? Nina's family is under siege, but they never lose sight of the only thing that really matters, finding their daughter. Outgunned by Simon's wealthy, powerful family, Nina's parents recognize that if playing by the rules won't get them anywhere, it's time to break them. Interesting. We're running out of time. We still have some tabs to go. Everyone is watching a locked room thriller by Heather Gudenkoff. The best friend, the confidant, the senator, the boyfriend, the executive. 5 contestants have been chosen to compete for $10 million on the game show One Lucky Winner. The catch? None of them knows what or who to expect, and it will be live streamed all over the world, completely secluded in an estate in Northern California with strict instructions not to leave the property and zero contact with the outside world. The competitors start to feel a little too isolated. When long-running secrets begin to rise to the surface, the contestants realize this is no longer just a reality show. Someone is out for blood, and the game can't end until the world knows who the contestants really are. The Wild Side by Fern Michaels. Wow, been a while. A seemingly ordinary guidance counselor goes undercover as a high class escort to bring down a dangerous network of ruthless and powerful men. The seasons must read blah blah blah. For Melanie Drake, school guidance counselor in a small Virginia town, the day's challenges typically involve a playground scuffle or a student skipping school. It's worlds away from her previous career as a vital part of the Office of Special Investigations. There, she devoted herself heart and soul to covert operations, the riskier the better. Since leaving, Melanie has cherished her peaceful, calm existence with her 2 beloved retired service dogs for company. When a call comes from her former supervisor, Rich Patterson, he needs her back for a highly specialized assignment. An international group of billionaires is known to meet regularly for decadent dinners, and they always hire high class escorts for the occasion. Only the most elegant, well educated, and sophisticated women will do. Infiltrating those meetings could yield information vital to national security. Melanie's loyalty is indisputable. She's willing to pose as an escort and glean every scrap of intel that she can. But these men aren't just wealthy and powerful, they're also exceptionally ruthless. One slip, and they won't hesitate to eliminate Melanie by any means necessary. 2 more, guys, then we're done. Off the Air by Christina Estes. Equal parts thought provoking and entertainment. Jolene Garcia is a local TV reporter in Phoenix, Arizona, splitting her time between covering general assignments, anything from a monsoon storm to a newborn giraffe at the zoo, and special projects. Stories take more time to research and produce, stories that Jolene wants to tell. When word gets out about a death at a radio station, Jolene and other journalists swarm the scene, intent on reporting the facts first. The body is soon identified as Larry Lemon, a controversial talk show host who died under suspicious circumstances. Jolene conducted his final interview, giving her and her station an advantage, but not for long. As the story heats up, so does the competition. Jolene is determined to solve this murder. It's an investigation that could make or break her career if it doesn't break her first. And Cheater by Karen Rose, second in the San Diego case files. A shocking murder leaves an affluent retirement community reeling. Death is not an unfamiliar visitor to Shady Oaks Retirement Village, which provides San Diego with premier elderly support from independent retiree housing to full-time hospice care. But when a resident's body is found brutally stabbed and his apartment ransacked, it's clear there's someone deadly in their community. Detective Catherine Kit McKittrick quickly discovers that Shady Oaks is full of skeletons, riddled closets, and most tenants prefer to keep their doors firmly closed to SDPD. A longtime volunteer at the retirement facility, Dr. Sam Reeves honors his late grandfather's memory by playing the piano for the residents regularly, so it shouldn't be such a surprise when Kit crosses paths with him during her investigation after she's avoided the criminal psychologist and the emotions he evokes for the last 6 months. Sam's rapport within the retirement village proves vital to the case, and the pair find themselves working together once again, much to Kit's dismay. But she's determined to apprehend the shadow of death lurking around Shady Oaks, and equally determined to ignore the feelings she's developing for a certain psychologist. Ah, we made it. That was a lot. I hope you found some things to maybe check out further. I certainly did. Alrighty. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're watching, if you like what you're seeing, please hit the like button, subscribe, notification bell, and let people know. We want to grow. This is like good news every day. These are the new releases of books. Quick announcements: we do have sprints tonight at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern, and they go for 2.5 hours, and we have a commercial. Um, there we go. But I hope you have a very good Tuesday. Be safe, be happy, read good books, and as the banner says, don't be a bookworm, be a bookie monster. Nom, nom, nom. Have a good day. God bless.